Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna give you 6 methods to help you write better metal rhythm guitar parts. This is gonna be cool. Alright guys, before we get started here, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and ding the little bell. I'm always cranking out metal guitar tutorials, giving you recording tips and a lot of metal music, so subscribe, ding the bell, and let's get started. Alright, so we're going to bring it in close. I'm going to go over these 6 methods with you and just show you some different things you can do. And this is really going to help you guys if you're writing your own music or if you're writing music for your band or something like that. It's just going to help you get out of that creative rut if that's where you're at. And it's just going to overall help you write better metal riffs. Alright, so this first method is probably the most simple method I'm going to show you, and it's something you're probably aware of already and maybe even play more than you think you do. But again, if you're caught in that rut, this is one of those small little things that you can add to like a verse or chorus or something like that as the main part of the rhythm, just to break things up and just make it sound better. So I'm calling these single note chops. Now for this specific riff, all I'm doing here is I'm playing an E power chord. I'm in standard tuning on my 6-string, my LTD M1000 Deluxe. Had this trusted thing for like 10 years now. Love this guitar. You hear how it's kind of choppy sounding. So what I'm doing is I'm just hitting some single notes between the palm muted. You know, I'm palm muting that open E string. And then I'm just hitting some single notes between that. And the notes I'm hitting here are just like the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th fret. It doesn't really matter what you're playing, you know, the point is I want you to get the method. You can play whatever, but you're just using that single note choppy method. Alright, now this next method, this is kind of simple too, and this is one of those methods you can use in transitioning between like a verse and chorus. You know, you need that little musical piece to segregate 2 parts of the song, 2 pieces of music here, and this is a really great way to do that. So I'm calling this, I gotta look at my cheat sheet over here, I'm calling this walk-ups or walk-downs. You know, you can do both ways, and all we're doing is we're taking a series of notes and we're just going up and or going down, or you're using both. So I'm just going to play this little riff here for you so you can get the idea. So you see how simple that was. You know, I just took a series of notes, and the first time around I just went down, right? I started with a higher note and went to the low note. The second time around I just combined both. You know, we started out going from low to high and then we went back down. And again, this is just a simple walk up or a walk down. It doesn't have to be anything super complex. And that right there, just that method alone, is now going to trigger something within you. When you start writing, you're going to start thinking like, man, between the verse and chorus, or the chorus and bridge or whatever, I want to add, you know, some really cool music piece to this. And you're going to be thinking, okay, well, I can add a walk up or walk down here. And you just start playing around with different notes, and boom, there you are. You've got your transition, and it sounds cool. Now this next method is going to be a little bit more advanced, but this is really going to spice up your rhythms. And in fact, like the video prior to this one that I did yesterday, I played this on acoustic, but I really wanted to share this in this lesson here because this is one of those things, if you start adding stuff like this to your metal rhythms, it's really going to send it to the next level. So what I'm calling this is Hammer-Ons with alternate picking. And what we're doing, we're not doing like a hammer-on pull-offs. We're going to get to something similar to that later. But this is just a hammer-on. You're going from one note, hammering to the next, and then you're throwing in some really cool, fast, alternate picking, like a thrash metal meets death metal style of playing. So I want to play this piece for you right here. So all I'm doing here is I'm starting on that second string 5th fret, and my hammer-on note is going to be the 7th fret. And just as I hit that 7th fret, just as I hammer down on that thing, I'm starting to do the fast alternate picking and palm muting at the same time. And then basically I just did the same thing, but just on different frets. I went from 2 to 3. And you could just let that be just a part of the music to where you go into something else, like maybe that's your verse, or maybe that's an intro or outro. It could be anything. Just let your mind go wild with that. But it's just a really cool technique, and it sounds awesome to just throw in here and there in your songs, because it really breaks things up and just it makes your rhythms sound more complex as well. Which I know complexity isn't always the goal, but you do want to keep those fingers moving, because that's what us metalheads and metal guitar players, that's what we want. You know, you don't want just stagnant power chords and just palm muting. I mean, there's a time and place for that, and that sounds cool, but you want to put in some of those little complexities in your music just to make it sound a lot cooler. Now this next method, this is really going to spice up your power chords, and I'm just going to show you a variation that you can do when you play power chords. Now I've actually got several videos out there on variations of power chords, but there's one specific variation I want to show you, and it works quite well with these two specific chords here. The power chords we're going to be playing are C and D. As cool as that sounds, we're going to make it sound way cooler than that. What I'm going to show you here is I want you to play your C a different way. You're going to play that root note, but that next note, which would be the 3rd string 5th fret, you're not going to hit that. Instead, you're going to hit the 4th note, which is the 3rd string 4th fret. So instead, your power chord is going to sound like this, and I'll let you hear the difference between the two, because you're actually going to go to the actual power chord, but you're going to start it like this here. The difference in that sounds really cool. Now the little trick is the next power chord we're going to play is actually going to be a D, but we're not going to play it anywhere near like we play a normal D power chord. In fact, our root note, the first note you hit, which is going to be that 1st string 5th fret, of course that's your D note, but we're actually going to play those second 2 notes the same as we did with the C. So it's going to sound like this. Now I'm going to play these 2 chords together, and after I play these 2 chords, I'm going to go to the expected E minor chord after that, because that's kind of the key we're in here. But I just want you to see how this sounds. I'm going to play it, you know, how I just showed you. Then I'm going to play it the normal way without the little, without the little nuances here, the changes that we made. And I'm going to go back to the way we just learned it, just so you can hear the difference, okay? Now, I added some stuff at the end there with another power chord, but you know, I just want you to get the idea that instead of just playing a regular power chord, just know that you don't always have to play it that way. Just move your fingers around a little bit. You know, put those fingers in some different places on your neck here, on the fret, on different frets, and just see what comes out, man. See what sound comes out, and just explore that. That's going to really open up that door of creativity in your metal playing. Now, this is going to be a freaking awesome thing you can do to spice up your metal playing here. So we're going to be playing some muted alternate picking riffs, and I'm going to play a specific pattern, but remember, everything I'm playing here today, you know, yeah, you can learn it, that's great and all, I'm calling out the frets and all that good stuff, but really I want you just to grasp the concepts, because this isn't so much about, hey, let's learn Jason's riffs in this lesson. This is more about helping you come up with better metal rhythm parts for your music or your band or whatever your, you know, whatever project that you're recording for, or if you're just a, you know, a bedroom guitarist, you know, and you're just a hobbyist. Hey, that's awesome. This is going to help you write better music. So I'm going to play a specific riff. If you already see that you might have a hard time with this, just know it's only 4 notes, and you're really just speed picking each note, really just 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to call out the frets that we're playing here, and I'll try to play this a little bit slower. This kind of stuff's kind of hard to play slow. You tend to screw it up more, so it's almost easier to play it fast. The frets here, we're on the 3rd string, the D string, and I am starting out on the 10th fret. Then I'm skipping that next note to go to the 7th fret. Then I'm coming back, you know, back up the neck here, going to the 9th fret, then landing on the 5th fret. So it's going to be 10, 7, 9, 5. I'm just going to play the notes, and then I'm going to play, you know, with the alternate picking. Now, what I'm doing there is I've got kind of a light palm mute. It's not like a full-on palm mute, because if you palm mute too hard, this is just another tip here I'm just kind of throwing in here. That's something that's helped me over the years. I've learned if you palm mute too hard on that bridge, if you've got your hand just like, you know, clenched on there, like you're trying to bench press 300 pounds or something, then you're actually gonna play notes that sound out of tune, because you're gonna put more stress on that string. So I do a lighter palm mute, and with that lighter palm mute, it also helps my clarity, the clarity of my notes, you know, kind of sound a little bit better. You don't want your palm off the string, obviously. You still want it muted, but just not so, you know, not so clenched down, not so tight, if that makes sense. So we are alternate picking. This is kind of like playing lead for rhythm, if you think about it in that sense. It's that fast kind of speed metal meets thrash metal, and the technique you actually use in like melodic death metal, I mean, really a lot of types of metal that, you know, where your fingers are moving around. You're not just sitting there on the fretboard, you're moving those fingers around. So this is a really cool technique. This could be part of the chorus or verse or really any part of the song, but you could also use something like this, you know, in transition. Like if you're, again, a lot of stuff I'm teaching you here, not only can it be part of the core of the song, but it can also help with those transitions, because that's where I find people have the hardest time in songwriting when they're writing their metal songs, their metal riffs, is those little transitions that break up so you can distinguish the verse from the chorus. Because in metal music, sometimes it might be hard to distinguish those if there's not a ton of chord changes or progression changes, you know, but these little transitions kind of help you break free from that. It's like, okay, that happened, so I know the song's about to change a little bit. We're going here instead of where we were. Now this final technique, okay, it's like Europe's final countdown, but we're not going to be playing Europe. So this is going to be playing hammer-ons and pull-offs together, and this is another just really amazing way to spice up your metal riffs. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm starting out on that A string, and this is kind of like the technique we talked about early on when we were talking about hammer-ons. You know, we did the hammer-on, but then we started speed picking after hitting that hammer-on note. Here, though, we're doing a full hammer-on pull-off, so we're just kind of doing that, and as we pull off, I actually pull off and let that open string ring out. And here's what I'm talking about. What I'm doing is I'm starting out on the 5th fret, 2nd string, the A string, 5th fret. I'm going to hammer on to that 7th fret, but then I'm going to pull off. So my note kind of goes back to that 5th fret, but then I'm going to pull off that 5th fret really fast so that that open string rings out just barely. And it's a very quick, snappy riff. You know, you kind of have to do that quickly because I don't want that open string to ring out too much. I want to go right into that next part of the riff, which in this case, I'm starting on the 3rd fret, still same string, 2nd string, 3rd fret. I'm going to hammer on and pull off at the 5th fret. Then I'm going back to that 3rd string, and I'm going to quickly pull off so that open string, you can hear that open string, that A string. Then I'm basically doing the same thing on frets 2 and 3, so it's going to be 2, hammer on to your 3rd fret, pull off, back to 2nd fret, then open string. And then I finish out this specific pattern here on the E string, and that's going to be frets 3 and 5. So I'm on that 3rd fret, hammer down to the 5th fret, pull off, you're back on the 3rd fret, and boom, you're right there with the open E. And I just do some palm muting and just do whatever you want to do. Again, you know, learning the actual riff is not as important in this video, in this specific video, as just grasping the concept and using the concept, applying the concepts here to make your metal riffs stand out a little bit better. So I'm going to play this riff through one more time. Now the cool thing is I had no intention of changing from that E minor, but I just thought while I was playing it, man, why don't I try going to an F? And that actually sounded a lot cooler when I did that every other time. And there's a point I want to make with that is, you know, let your mind be free. You know, let your creativeness flow while you're playing. If you sense you want to try something different, don't get stuck in that rut of like, well, I've got to play it this way, I got to play it a certain way. Let your mind flow. You know, take these concepts I'm showing you here, like the hammer-on pull-offs. You may want to try that somewhere completely different on the neck, on the fretboard, and I encourage you to do that because, again, this video is all about helping you break free from those ruts in your metal rhythm playing and just write some better and more creative metal riffs. Just kind of send you to that next level of metal riff writing. That sounds like a cool job description, metal riff writer. Leave me any questions you have on any of these riffs and these methods that we went over. I'd be happy to talk more about them in depth because I know we can get stuck in a rut sometimes. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it happens to all of us. It happens to me sometimes too. So sometimes I have to go back and remind myself of these different techniques that we don't even think about a lot of times when we're stuck in that rut, and just start applying some of these. And I really think it's going to help you boost your creativity in your metal riff writing. And like I said, you know, whether you're writing a solo project or if you're writing music for your band and you kind of need to get over that hump. It's like, man, I'm writing like the same stuff over and over and over, but I want something different. So, you know, go back through this video, you know, go back through these 6 methods here and start just applying some of those. You don't even have to play it exactly like I showed you to play it. Just take the concept and build on that, and that's just going to help you get through that hump. It's going to just spark that creativity in your playing. And again, you know, if you have questions on any of this stuff, just leave a comment and let me know. And also let me know if this helped you, and if it did, please hit the like button. That really helps my YouTube videos, helps the algorithm, which I have no clue, not even pretend to understand that whole thing, but just hit the like button. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for all your support, and until the next video, keep it metal.